All right, welcome back. We're diving deep into something you guys really wanted to explore. The power of believing in yourself. You sent over the most interesting source for this.
Okay.
A children's book about Louis Pasteur.
Interesting.
I have to admit, I was a little skeptical at first.
I can see that.
But trust me, this is way more insightful than just some average bedtime story.
It's actually fascinating how a simple children's book can illuminate such a complex concept like this.
For sure.
This isn't really just like a straight biography of Pasteur. It's like a deep look into the kind of mindset that you need to, propel this groundbreaking work.
Right. So the book opens up, and Pasteur's on this mission
Okay.
to conquer what it calls the invisible enemy,
Uh-huh.
rabies. And the imagery is so vivid. I mean, you can practically picture him striding around in this bright orange coat. He's totally consumed by this challenge.
Cool.
But here's the thing. Everyone thought he was crazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, back then, the very idea of germs was controversial.
Total.
To imagine an invisible enemy causing disease.
Yeah.
Outlandish
Yeah.
to most people.
Yeah.
Pasteur was totally swimming against the tide of accepted scientific thought.
It's like the book says, even kids would peek into his lab and shout doubts at him through the window.
No way.
Yeah, but Pasteur, he just keeps going, just fueled by this unshakable belief in his own ideas.
Makes you wonder, what gives someone that kind of resilience?
I know.
In the face of such widespread skepticism, it's that inner conviction.
Yeah.
That refusal to be swayed by negativity. That's what truly sets someone like Pasteur apart.
Okay, so then the book introduces us to this little boy,
Right.
Joey,
Let me show you.
from Germany. And he has this terrifying encounter with a rabid dog.
No.
I know, right?
It's awful.
It really drives home the fear surrounding rabies at the time. It was basically a death sentence.
Yeah, if we think about the broader historical context here, rabies was a terrifying and widespread threat in the 19th century. I mean, Pasteur wasn't just driven by scientific curiosity. He was responding to a very real and urgent need.
And the book doesn't shy away from the emotional impact at all. You really feel the desperation of Joey's parents.
Oh, wow.
This frantic race against time as they travel to Paris.
I'll try to save him.
Yeah, it's a real nail-biter.
It really highlights how much was at stake. It wasn't just, academic debates or proving theories or whatever. This was about a child's life hanging in the balance.
Okay, and so here's where it gets really interesting. The book explains Pasteur's rabies vaccine using this metaphor of magical soldiers that are fighting the invisible enemy inside the body.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's such a simple analogy, but it captures the essence of how vaccines actually work.
It's brilliant, isn't it? By using this child-friendly language, the book manages to explain a complex scientific concept in a way that's easily understandable.
Right.
These magical soldiers, of course, represent the antibodies that are stimulated by the vaccine to target and neutralize the rabies virus.
So then, Joey, brave little guy, he's the first person to receive the vaccine.
Wow.
The book describes this incredible scene where these magical soldiers battle the germs, and slowly Joey starts to recover. It's a victory for Joey.
For sure.
But also a victory for Pasteur's unwavering faith in his work.
What I find particularly interesting is that the book doesn't just stop at Joey's recovery. It connects this victory to a much larger message.
Oh, okay.
The power of trusting your instincts and persevering, even when others doubt you.
It even poses this question to the reader. Is there something you would really like to do? Are you going to give up just because other people think you should? It's a powerful call to action, even for a children's book.
And this is where the book transcends just being about Pasteur and rabies. It encourages self-reflection.
Yeah.
Prompting the reader to identify their own invisible enemies and the inner strength they need to overcome them.
Okay, so we've got this amazing children's story that lays the groundwork.
Yeah.
But then the book goes even further. It has this whole section on the real Louis Pasteur, the challenges he faced, his personal life, the full scope of his impact.
This historical context adds another layer of depth. It shows that even a scientific giant like Pasteur encountered resistance.
I know.
It wasn't a straightforward path to success, which makes the story even more inspiring.
I was particularly struck by the description of Pasteur's wife, Marie. She was this unwavering source of support.
Oh, wow.
Always encouraging him to focus on his research. It gives us a glimpse into his personal life, highlighting that he wasn't just a brilliant scientist, but also a devoted husband who drew strength from those around him.
That detail about his wife really stands out to me, too.
Yeah.
It reminds us that even the most driven, self-assured individuals often rely on a strong support system. It makes you think about the role of encouragement and belief from others in nurturing our own self-confidence.
That's such a great point. It's not just about what's going on inside our own heads, but also about the people who champion us, who see
Hmm.
our potential even when we might doubt ourselves.
Exactly. And, this makes me think about something else.
Okay.
We've been talking about Pasteur's work in the context of science, but this idea of trusting your instincts and persevering despite opposition,
Yeah,
that applies to so many other areas of life as well.
that's so true.
Whether it's pursuing a creative passion,
Yeah.
launching a business,
Mm-hmm.
or simply standing up for what you believe in, that inner conviction, that can be the driving force that helps us overcome obstacles and achieve our goals.
Absolutely. And what's even more fascinating is how this book, through a tale of magical soldiers and a little boy's courage, manages to convey that message in a way that even a child can grasp. It's amazing how a story intended for kids can spark such profound reflections. But before we dive too deep into those broader implications, I'm curious, what stands out to you the most so far?
Well, what strikes me is the way this seemingly simple story highlights a fundamental truth about human potential,
Okay.
whether it's scientific discovery,
Right.
artistic expression,
Hmm.
or overcoming personal challenges. That belief in oneself is often the first step towards achieving something remarkable.
I completely agree. It's like that inner spark of conviction fuels the fire, pushing us to strive for something bigger than ourselves.
And that's what makes this deep dive so exciting. It's
Hmm.
not just about understanding Pasteur's achievements, but about exploring how his story can inspire us to tap into our own potential
Yeah.
and face our own invisible enemies
Mm.
with courage and conviction.
I love that. So let's shift gears a bit and explore those broader implications. In our next segment, we'll delve deeper into how this idea of believing in yourself plays out in different areas of life,
Okay.
and how we can all learn to cultivate that inner strength regardless of our backgrounds or aspirations. It's amazing how a story about a scientist from the 1800s can still feel so relevant today. We were just talking about the power of belief,
Right.
but it's not always easy to just summon that confidence.
You're right. It's easy to admire Pasteur's conviction,
Yeah,
but we all have those moments of self-doubt
totally.
when those invisible enemies,
Yeah.
like fear of failure,
Uh-huh.
those voices of criticism, they feel incredibly real.
For sure. Like, we might understand how important believing in yourself is, but then life throws us a curveball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's where I think this book offers some really valuable insights.
Okay.
Remember those magical soldiers?
The ones that help Joey fight off rabies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can apply that metaphor to challenges we face in our own lives, too.
That's interesting. So, if those magical soldiers represent the tools we use to combat our own invisible enemies, what might those look like in
Well,
the more practical sense?
one of the most powerful magical soldiers we have is resilience.
Resilience.
Yeah, that ability to bounce back from setbacks, to learn from our mistakes.
Keep pushing forward.
Exactly.
I can definitely see how that's crucial. When those invisible enemies start whispering doubts.
And just like Pasteur had the support of his wife, Marie,
Right.
we have our own support systems.
Our friends, family.
Mentors, even online communities, people who encourage us.
It's like they lend us their belief when ours runs low.
Exactly. Their encouragement can be incredibly empowering.
For sure.
But not everyone has a cheering squad on standby 24/7.
True. There are definitely times when we have to face those invisible enemies on our own.
That's when it becomes even more crucial to cultivate that inner strength.
That unshakable faith in ourselves.
Yeah, it's about silencing those negative thoughts. Yeah.
Those voices that tell us we're not good enough.
Exactly.
So we have to become our own cheerleaders.
You got it.
Okay.
And that might involve practicing self-compassion,
Okay.
actively challenging those negative thought patterns,
Yeah.
reminding ourselves of past successes.
Proof that we can do it.
Exactly. It's about building that internal reservoir of self-belief so we can draw on it when we need it most.
So it's a mental shift, moving from self-doubt to self-empowerment.
You got it. It's about recognizing that we have the power to overcome obstacles.
Achieve our goals.
Exactly.
You know, this conversation makes me think about all the times I've held myself back.
Because of fear.
Yeah.
What if you had embraced that belief more fully?
What could I have accomplished?
It's a question we should all ask ourselves.
For sure. What invisible enemies have we allowed to hold us captive?
What dreams have we set aside because we didn't believe in ourselves enough?
It's It's like this book is challenging us.
to identify those areas where we've been playing small.
And to step into our full potential.
That's the most profound message of this book.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that the power to overcome any obstacle
To achieve any dream.
starts with believing in ourselves.
So interesting how much depth and wisdom we can get from a story for kids.
It's why this story of Pasteur continues to resonate.
Regardless of age.
It taps into that human truth that we're capable of so much more than we think.
We've explored a lot about belief.
From Pasteur's breakthroughs.
To the challenges we face every day.
But I think it's important to acknowledge the science behind all this, too.
Right, we've been using this magical soldiers analogy, but we
Yeah.
need to acknowledge Pasteur's actual scientific work.
Not magic. It's science.
Like, his research on germs revolutionized medicine.
Exactly.
It's not magic, it's science.
And it's based on Pasteur's relentless pursuit of knowledge.
He believed in the power of his discoveries.
To improve lives.
It's a perfect example of how belief fuels action and leads to real results.
And Pasteur's discoveries weren't limited to just rabies.
Oh, really?
He made groundbreaking contributions to so many areas,
Like what?
like pasteurization, which we still use today,
Oh, wow.
to keep our food safe.
I didn't realize the scope of his work.
It's amazing to think how one person's belief could lead to such advancements.
That still impact us today?
It speaks to the power of curiosity,
Perseverance.
that unwavering belief in the potential of science.
To make a difference.
We've talked about Pasteur's story, the importance of a strong support system,
Yeah.
and the magical soldiers we can call upon to face our challenges.
But before we wrap up, what's the biggest takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with today?
I hope what sticks with them is this.
Okay.
Believing in yourself is not just some feel-good concept.
It's not.
It's a powerful force
Okay.
that can drive us to achieve remarkable things
In our personal lives.
and in our contributions to the world.
Beautifully put, it's about recognizing our own worth,
Trusting our instincts.
even when faced with uncertainty or doubt.
Exactly. But
Oh.
I think there's one more crucial aspect of this belief that we need to explore.
Okay.
We've talked about facing challenges and overcoming self-doubt.
Yeah.
But what about those times when belief requires us to challenge the status quo?
To go against the grain.
Yeah.
To push beyond the boundaries of what's considered possible.
That's where Pasteur's story has an even deeper meaning.
Okay.
He dared to imagine a different reality.
A world where rabies could be conquered.
A world where science could improve human health and well-being.
It almost sounds like true belief requires audacity.
A willingness to question assumptions.
To push the limits.
You're right, and that often comes from a deep conviction that things can be different,
That progress is possible.
that our ideas can make a real impact.
It's like not letting fear or societal norms dictate our limits.
It's about trusting our inner compass and pursuing what we believe is right.
Even if it means going against the grain.
It's about having the courage to be a pioneer,
To forge a new path.
embrace the unknown, even when others might doubt us,
That's the ultimate act of believing in yourself, right?
to trust your instincts so deeply that you're willing to challenge the world
Stand up for what you believe in.
and create something truly meaningful, even if it means facing resistance.
So as we move into the final part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with this thought.
Okay.
What invisible enemies are you facing? And what would it take for you to believe in yourself enough to conquer them
To push beyond your limits.
and create something truly extraordinary? It really is. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and let those invisible enemies stop us from reaching our full potential.
It is. But like we saw with Pasteur, real change,
Yeah.
real innovation, progress,
Mm-hmm.
it often starts with someone who dares to believe in a different reality.
One that others can't even imagine yet.
Right.
That's where the leap of faith comes in.
Yeah, that willingness to embrace the unknown.
To trust that even if the path's not clear,
Yeah.
our belief in ourselves will guide us towards something amazing.
It takes courage, though, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. To go against the grain, to challenge the way things are.
To risk failing.
In the pursuit of something bigger than yourself.
You know, it's interesting. That courage often comes with humility.
Oh, okay.
Pasteur is a brilliant scientist, for sure,
Uh-huh.
but he was also known for his dedication.
To his work.
Yeah. His willingness to keep learning, to experiment, to keep pushing boundaries.
So it's not about arrogance
No,
or blind faith.
not at all. It's about approaching challenges with curiosity
A willingness to learn.
and that belief That even if you don't have all the answers right now,
Yeah.
you can find them
It all comes back to that trust,
in your instincts,
honing your skills,
finding people who support your vision.
and never giving up.
Exactly.
It's really amazing how this conversation has evolved.
I know, right? We started with a children's book,
About Louis Pasteur,
and now we're talking about courage and humility.
the pursuit of knowledge, believing in yourself.
It's amazing how much depth we've uncovered.
It just goes to show you the power of stories.
Oh, for sure. Even a seemingly simple story
Yeah.
can really make us think about human potential.
About belief.
As we wrap up, I want to leave our listener with one final thought.
Okay.
It's a quote that's always resonated with me. The only way to do great work is to love what you do.
I love that quote.
I think it speaks to the heart of human motivation. When we love something, when we believe in it, it fuels everything.
Our creativity, our resilience.
That drive to overcome obstacles.
And make it a reality.
Exactly.
So, to everyone listening, I would say this. Embrace your passions. Nurture your curiosity. And never underestimate the power of believing in yourself. The world needs what you have to offer.
It needs your talents, your insights.
The journey starts with that belief that you can make a difference.
That you can bring something to life that only you can.
That is a beautiful message.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the power of belief.
We hope you gained something valuable.
And discovered some magical soldiers within.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning,
Keep dreaming.
and keep believing.